If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and a hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hi, welcome to Challenge Talk, part of the Challenged Geocache Talk Network. You can watch the show live now on the first Sunday of every month. Feel free to jump over to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter to watch the broadcast live and join the wonderful and active chat room, or listen to the entire show later on your favorite podcast player. In this episode, we'll be talking with Doug Macrae about his awesome accomplishments and challenge cache creations. We also have prizes to give away each show to our listeners. Between each show, be sure to email your challenge cache finds to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com, and you could be a winner. Later in the show, we'll also play our special game exclusively for our live audience, the Wheel of Challenges. So listen live, get your email app ready, and follow the instructions when the time comes so you can have a chance at winning the grand prize. And later on, we'll also highlight some of the challenge caches you found, and someone will win our monthly giveaway. Well, guys, maybe not that part tonight. Tonight is a very transitional show. It's our first show without Jeff. And I'm on the road in a hotel room, and our guest is on the road in the hotel room. We're just going to make it work tonight. We know you all understand. So here's everyone else. We have Jesse with us and retired guy, or Doug Macrae. Thank you guys for joining us.
Good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
So we always start with how our months have been. So Jesse, how has your challenging or geocaching month been?
I have not had a lot of, just because of outside personal stuff. And, we had a hurricane down here. I have not had a lot of time to do much geocaching. However, this show does highlight some of the geocaching I'm going to be doing in the next couple months, which we'll get into that. Obviously, I'm sure people can guess what that's going to be related to this show, but I'm planning a big trip to go do what we're talking about tonight, but lately has not been that great.
All right. That's okay. There's months like that. I feel like a lot of times my months are like that, but not this month, even not this week. I am in Atlanta because I just got finished with the Going Caching mega event, one of the best mega events in the world. And I'm exhausted with wonderful experiences behind me these past few days. I see people in the chat who have been at Going Caching, who have been having fun with it. I know people can't be with us tonight because they're traveling home from Going Caching. So that's been my amazing week. So in addition to Going Caching, since I'm in Georgia, I was able to get Tour of Stone Mountain, another 2001 cache. So I'm slowly working on getting towards double and triple Jasmer. And today went out on Lake Lanier to do Marooned, the boat tour on the boat tour. So I feel like I've joined that club now with Captain John. Doug, Captain John and I were talking about the ways you've contributed to his business, and that benefits all of us cachers because we know where to find him. And he is happy to give us cachers a boat tour for Marooned and other cachers around it. It was a great experience this afternoon.
Yeah, I laughed at your last show where you were talking about Googling, trying to figure out how to get out on Lake Lanier and find Maroon. And you ran into Captain John Lanier, or lakelanier.com, his website. When I was down there, I couldn't figure out how to find him. People kept on saying, contact Captain John. And so I said, well, you need a website. He goes, I have no clue how to do that. Back to the hotel room and put together a one-page website. And now you just Google or find CaptainJohnLanier.com, and you get a one-page describing how to get out to Marooned.
Yep, that's exactly what I used. And like I said, absolutely fabulous. Captain John was telling us that he loves to take geocachers out on the boat. He says he said, I promise I'm not just saying it to you guys, but the geocachers are my favorite charter guests. He loves to see his home lake through the excited eyes of every geocacher who comes for the first time. So yeah, it was a fabulous experience. So Doug, have you been up to anything extremely interesting lately?
I have a little bit. I was over in Germany, Austria, and Hungary. And while I was there, we were one of the first boats to go down the Danube in a month because of the drought. It turned out that we probably should have waited a couple of extra days. The boat got stuck on the bottom. It took 14 hours to get us free. And in the time, just like the Suez Canal was blocked by that boat, we blocked the entire traffic for the Danube for those 14 hours. But we're eventually unstuck and made our way all the way down to Budapest. And while I was there, though it was not a caching trip, I did get 2 German geotours done, and also got the oldest geocache in Hungary.
Oh, wonderful.
Old castle, or it looks old. It was actually built as a set for a movie in the 60s, but it looks like an old castle, and that's where the oldest geocache in Hungary is.
Oh, that's wonderful. And this was just recently?
Just got back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Good. Very good. All right. Well, that's
quite
awesome.
a good trip. That kind of blows, the couple of caches I found around town out of the water. So
we all have great moments when we get to have those epic trips. So Doug and I guess we're just coming off of our epic trips. We had a question in the chat: how many can Captain John fit on his boat? He takes max 9 people on a reservation. So I gathered folks up, and we did fill the boat on my trip today. Lori is in the chat. She said it was a great day on the boat this afternoon. Yeah, we were glad to have Lori with us, and Danielle, another Geocache Talk Network patron, was with us. So it was great. All right. Well, we're going to move on to our topic for now. Basically, we're going to talk with Doug about his challenge accomplishments, as well as what he's put out there for the rest of us. So as a lot of you know, Doug is the inventor of Ms. Pac-Man and has been geocaching since 2009. His caching name is Retired Guy. And you now live in Boston with your wife, Retired Girl. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome.
She doesn't go out on all the adventures with me, but she doesn't mind going back in the woods. It's when we do these urban caches and I deal with the law enforcement officers that she gets a little nervous.
Yeah, I got you there. So Doug's been on Geocache Talk on previous episodes. So for your reference, everyone, show 28 and show 92. And then most recently in September of 2020, he was on show 216. So you can go back to some of those shows and hear a lot of conversation about your Ms. Pac-Man information and your Netflix series, or the Netflix series that you were on. But today we're going to talk about challenge caches, of course. So Doug, we're going to talk through some of the things you've achieved, and feel free to chime in how you'd like to share with us. But what's really cool is you have a webpage, retiredguy.com, and this page shows so many awesome things about you. I love that you have this page. I think I would love to have a page about myself so I could just go back to it, check out all my stats. But this is great. So you've got some FTF magazines, features that you've been in, it looks like. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, my favorite one is right in the middle, and I'm not in that one, but that is my granddaughter finding her first geocache.
Oh,
and Retired Girl.
That's really sweet. Great. And then also there's a little fakey FTF magazine, right? And that has to do with a gift film that you were in.
Yeah, so we created a gift film this year. Unfortunately, it did not make the finals. Still don't understand why. We liked ours the best, obviously. But we had a full page ad in First to Find magazine after it just to get people to watch our GIF. And
Oh,
if you
great.
go to the far right, where we waited a year for this, you can watch the GIF film. It's up on YouTube. And many probably of your listeners participated in that film. We had both at the MOGA event and one of the other events, all the cachers get together and be part of the film. So a lot of orange t-shirts that said we've waited a year for this.
Awesome. So you got a lot of cameos in that film.
Yes.
Great.
I think
So
I have
then-
one of those orange shirts in my closet right now.
Do you?
I do. That was I don't even know which event it was.
Cool. I watched it, but I didn't spot you, but there were definitely a lot of people in that. So this, oh yeah, that's right. Doug, you've got some trackables that we can discover if we go check out your webpage.
You can, and
That's
some
pretty cool.
maps of where some of the weird trips I've taken geocaching. That, as we keep on saying, we play the game our own different way, and I collect countries, and I collect oldest in countries, and I collect souvenirs. So my trips often take me to very strange places in the world.
And you are the top souvenir earner. You have the most souvenirs of every geocacher. Is that correct?
I am. I'm up to 481 now. The fall Cedo was my 481st. The two German Geo tours were 479, 480. And I will go out of my way trying to get a souvenir. I almost did another day trip down to Rome, Georgia, just to go to that mega. I do have conflicts with my anniversary and my grandson's birthday on this weekend. And this time I decided not to go. But
All right.
Normally Rome, Georgia is a day trip for me because there are lots of conflicts.
Gotcha. So, but still, that's pretty amazing to be the top souvenir earner of all geocachers in the world. That's just cool.
Always fascinating for us to find out what people are into. And, most people don't collect countries. That some people do, but most people don't do that. And souvenirs, that's another one that some people collect and some people don't even pay attention to. So it's always fascinating to see what drives people.
Well, I often get asked by Muggle friends, wow, you spend a lot of time geocaching. You must be, the number one geocacher in the world. And I just respond, we each play the game differently. Some play it with sheer numbers, and I'm not even close. I don't know where I would stand, but probably 10,000th or something like that. But I travel a lot since I'm retired, and often go back to places I used to do work in. And so I collect countries, I collect oldest in countries, I collect souvenirs, I collect oldest in states, and have a great time doing it.
Well, and it's funny that you say that too, because we could probably spend an hour talking about, each one of us would probably have a different opinion of how would you rank the top geocacher in the world. Numbers wouldn't be it for me. I wouldn't, it would be something totally different. And I think everybody would have their own opinion. It's based, like you said, everybody plays the game differently, and it's based on how you play the game. And, you may consider yourself the best, and, there's somebody else that would not even agree with your qualifications, and that's okay because we all play it how we want to play it.
Right. If we were to play it like somebody else, it wouldn't be fun to us. And, why bother in that way? Taking these trips, I plan it for exactly what I want it to be. And that's what makes a caching trip fun to me. Whatever I put on my list, it's not going to look like somebody else's trip.
Well, I think it's what challenge caches often do for you is they define different ways to play the game. And there are so many different aspects when you start looking, going, okay, I'm going to find the oldest in each of the states, or I'm going to find one from each possible reviewer that I could possibly.
Right.
And, there's just different ways, connecting counties, that's what makes the game so interesting, that we can each find our own way to define our goals.
Right. Pizza Ninja just said in the comments, it's kind of like side games. We can turn geocaching into anything we want it to be based on the base game that we have.
We
Yeah.
certainly
And,
can.
I've often wondered, like, I love filling in the state maps, or I don't have many countries, but I would, be thrilled to do that. But for some reason, filling in counties has just never spoken to me, And so, yeah, I know that is one of the most popular things I hear from people is I got to connect to my counties. I got to get this county. And to me, I don't know, that's just a sub game that's too much. And I focus on other things.
And I elect not to do the counties because I'm married and don't want to get divorced. When you're driving across country and you want to stop in every county, it isn't the easiest thing in the world.
Right. No, I know exactly what you're saying. My husband will love to go out on a day trip with me and enjoy a beautiful weekend, but I know what's going to be annoying to him at the end of the day, and I know what's going to make our day better. And yeah, that's exactly it. I don't want to stop for every little thing and make the day less valuable to him. It kind of comes down to that quality quantity kind of thing, where again, all of us define quality versus quantity in our own way.
The funny thing is, my wife is just the exact opposite of your two. So
She's the county.
So she likes counties, and I'm more like, I rather do all day for just one cache, some crazy intricate thing that takes all day to get there. And she likes going for the counties. So, but she indulges the challenge part. So I like the challenges. She likes the counties. But once we get a new challenge and we go sign one, then that's our new complete goal until we're done with that. And then we do something totally different. And even if it's counterproductive for everything else, I don't care. Our goal can change 50 times and we're excited brand new about something. And I think that's what helps so much is, like, Doug, I don't know if you started off this way, but have you always been interested in, like, you started in 2009. Were you into counties then, or did it change and evolve over time?
Oh, I had no idea what counties were even.
I'm sorry, countries.
Countries. Yes and no. No, I did not intentionally start with countries, but my first geocache was in Aruba, and not the United States. A good friend of mine who I serve on a board with, Eagle Scout, 1968, he kept on trying to get me to go out geocaching, and he worked on me for about 2 years. And finally, I agreed to do a geocaching adventure with him. This was in Massachusetts. He was going to take me out for my birthday, and the weather outside was 34 degrees, freezing rain coming down. And he, I think, had the discretion is a better part of valor. He decided not to take me out that day because I would not have enjoyed it. We would have ended up frozen, miserable, and I would never have geocached again. So instead, he said, hey, give this a try. Trust me, it's going to be fun. I've been working on you for 2 years. This should be something you would like. And so I bought a Garmin, and a day later we were flying to Aruba, and somehow I figured out how to put in the coordinates for the then 14 geocaches in Aruba, and I found, I think, 11 of them.
Wow.
And was hooked. But so was I after countries at the time? Not at all. But my first 11 geocaches were in Aruba.
That's quite the story. Quite the story. That's really great. And you, we had up on the screen, you are number 8 for the number of countries that you've cached in. Number 8 in the world.
Point out, I'm a top American. These crazy Germans and I forget where the other ones are from, but
Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic. When you have the name Flying Nick and things like that, I think they have quite the advantage. There's some American cachers also that are pilots and whatever. Lori Bird is an American Airlines pilot, and she seems to get around. I think she stalks me or I stalk her. We always seem to miss each other by 3 or 4 days. I finally met up with her at Geo Woodstock, but she knocks off countries and then claims it's part of her job. So who knows?
Well, yeah. And in the chat, Neil noticed you're the only American in the top country finder graphic that you have there on your website.
Yeah, I for some reason think that Americans are a little bit more scared of going to see foreign countries than some of the Europeans. I have a trip planned in November where we're going to Algeria and Tunisia and North Macedonia. And I'm looking at kind of terrified. Okay, so what do I have to do to, my French is awful. How am I going to navigate whatever? And I think the Germans just go, oh, it's another country. And so they do very, very well in going to all these strange lands where us Americans are a little scared or terrified. So I'm off to Algeria and Tunisia and North Macedonia and Sark while I'm at it in the English Channel.
Mine as
Great.
well.
Awesome. So you've also accomplished the Quad Jasmer, and that's the highest you can go in present day. So that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a stat on how many people have done that.
I don't either. And I've always wondered how to generate that. And maybe some of the Project GC aficionados could.
Maybe someone in our chat tonight take on that challenge and see if you can find that for us.
There's got to be a way to figure that out.
It could probably be done by hand, just matching the logs, since there are only 4 caches that get you even possibly qualified for it. So
there can't be that many people.
No. But that's great. And then something local, but I hear it's something that is quite, what do I want to say, competitive in your area, the Massachusetts 351. So tell us what the 351 is, or what do you guys call it there locally?
The Mass 351.
The Mass 351.
So Massachusetts has 351 towns. It's nothing compared to the Texas Challenge, where you have to get all the counties in Texas, which is a much bigger state since everything in Texas is big. But Massachusetts, there's 351 towns, and you have to get a cache in each of the towns. And this was great for pandemic work. I many mornings got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and just started driving and exploring towns in Massachusetts I did not even know existed. There's Florida, Massachusetts. There's Orange, Massachusetts. There's Washington, Massachusetts. On the far side of the state, I never knew they were out there. You have to get out to the islands. You have to get all over the place. So it was a fun challenge to knock off during the pandemic.
And that was really neat when I was going through your profile. This is a fun challenge. Like, is there a formal cache to find once you finish the challenge, or is it just an informal challenge?
No, there is a challenge cache that you get to find and sign. There's also the New Hampshire challenge, the Maine challenge, and there's some people that have knocked off those 3. Not many. I know Yuki Ono has finished all 3 of those, and Maine is by far the most difficult because many of them are out on islands, and you have to take ferries to them that often run once every 2 days if they feel like stuff. So it becomes even more difficult as you head further north.
So it seems like a small area, but lots of physical challenges to complete it. But yeah, I really liked that. There's something neat about visiting, like you said, the small places that you never knew existed. So I enjoyed coming across that one on your profile.
Yeah, Kelly just Curious KDB just jumped on and said Yuki has done all the states. So she may have also done Connecticut and Rhode Island. I'm not sure, but very impressive stats.
That's great. That's a really neat New England thing to watch out for. And I did, when I was re-listening to shows 216, you finished that one. You spoke about doing it in that show, and then you've since finished since 2 years ago.
Yeah,
yes,
we have Doug on every 2 years, if you notice. So we were due again. So
yeah. So then also you've cached on 7 continents. You found 6 countries in one day. That's pretty amazing. A lot of us are just trying for like Canada and US in one day. And what else maybe could we do if we travel internationally?
And of course, I turned that into a challenge. There's a challenge cache down in Florida, which requires you get 6 countries in a day. There's another at 4, and there's another at 2.
Good. So increments.
There's 6 countries in a day. We started early in the morning at around 3 a.m. We were in Budapest at the time, and we drove from Budapest to Romania, then on to Serbia, Bosnia, Slovenia, and one other country in there I'm forgetting about, and then got back to our hotel around 10:30. Fortunately, our spouses had ordered food for us, and we had a great day. People still ask, why would you possibly spend an entire day like that driving around in all these strange countries? And we said, it was a great adventure. We still talk about it.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you do this, right? Great.
Because you can. That's because we're still allowed to do crazy stuff like that. That's why you do it, because we can, right? So there is a question, but we're going to get to that later, of which challenge you're working on next. I know we're going to get to that. I've got a question that's totally off script, but just if I asked normal caching people this question, I would expect certain answers. From you, I expect a completely different answer. Do you have one that stands out as the most challenging challenge you've ever done?
Most challenging challenge.
Because you're talking, even the ones you put out are crazy. For all of us would go, that's crazy. 6 states, 6 countries in a day. But I'm curious, when you put out these crazy ones, like you just mentioned, what is something that you've seen that you're like, well, no, that's insane?
Well, the one of the very, very first challenges that I actually saw was I was visiting friends in Texas, and we had done 30 or 40 caches that day, and we're around a bottle of wine talking at night, and she hopped on her laptop and was looking, going, wow, there's what's called a challenge in our area. And it says you have to do something before you're allowed to sign it. This was kind of our first challenge cache. And I said, what do you have to do? And she goes, you have to get 1,000 caches in a day. This is down near Houston, Texas, by the way. And I said, well, that's impossible. And we started reading people that had signed it and signed a found log on it, and go, oh, people have actually done that before. And they talk about something called a power trail. So, of course, we're Googling geocaching power trail and going, oh, people actually do this. They go out to Vegas and go north of there and go on something called the ET Highway. And so we decided the next day we were going to just attempt to see if we were good enough. So we took a van and went on what looked like somewhat of a power trail. There were 40 caches in a row along the side of the road. The side of the road was quite tilted, and we timed ourselves, and we concluded that the best we could do in an hour was X, and the best we could do in a day was 220 or so. And then we went back and over a couple other glasses of wine kind of started going, all right, well, we could speed things up if we had 2 more people, jumping, another, exchanging logs. You're allowed to, grab one and sign in. And so we eventually end up building our power trail team. And this became why we went out to the ET Highway. And we formed it of 6 relatively non-cachers, 5 non-cachers, 3 experienced cachers, if I included myself as experienced at the time, including a 13-year-old kid that we thought he would jump out and grab every one. We wore him out after the first 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Fetch. But had a unbelievable time. And we came back, we got over 1,000 on our second day. And we came back and tried explaining to our spouses and to friends and muggles and whatever, this was so great. And they go, so you got up at 4 a.m, you got in a car, you drove 528 feet, came to a stop, someone jumped out, ran, grabbed a film canister, came to the car, swapped it, went another 528 feet, and you did this for 18 hours? We go, yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And they go, Don't invite me.
Oh my goodness. It is so funny how we are sitting here being so excited about what you're telling us. And you're right, to someone else, yeah, that's a nice story.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? That's what I love. Like, we'll read cache pages about something, a challenge cache that made us think, I've never thought of things that way.
Hmm.
And, just inspire us. And like John said in the chat, one more side game that we personally make up for ourselves. And I love it. I think most of us stat geeks love that kind of stuff.
And so I think one of the most challenging challenges I put out there, not necessarily the hardest, but is the 6 countries in a day. And I know that people have set up teams over in Europe that have accomplished 12, 13, or 14 countries in a day. And at some point, I may want to attempt one of those. 6 was a lot, but if you really put together a team and optimize everything, it could be fun. And some of the teams that have done that actually have local cachers ready to meet them near where they're headed as they cross the border, and accompany them to the cache to make sure there's no hiccups and whatever. And the logistics ahead of time, months of planning just to do this one day, somehow fascinates us cachers.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're saying this and it makes me want to go make these plans for myself.
Well,
I love it.
That's what's fun about it too, is even one challenge, you put out one challenge and there's going to be 10 different ways people are going to plan and go about, accomplishing that challenge. It's amazing how people will find, just like you said, some people love the plan. I'm one of those people, but the planning is almost as fun as actually getting to the cache. It takes a long time to plan to do one of these things. Like, you got to charter a boat, you got to get there, you got to get your team there, you got to do a bunch of stuff, maybe stay overnight. All that stuff is just as much part of the fun is going to get the cache.
I love the planning of any given trip. I love the organization of it. I love trying to find every possible detail to make my trip as successful as possible. And then you go and you live it. And, even down to like, I'll get on Google Maps and I'll get on Street View and I'll just really make sure I know my stuff. And then I get there in person and I'm like, I'm here, I'm standing where I've studied, So yeah, I love the planning as well.
Well, I think I often spend 5 times the amount of time planning than I do actually on the trip.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Is this good use of my time? And I go, well,
it's what I love. Yeah.
Spending time late at night or whatever to optimize those days in those weird countries or in the backwoods or wherever you might be, it's well worth it.
It is. It is. Well, there's so many more of your accomplishments that we can see on your website, but we want to jump to what you referenced it, what you've hidden. And basically what you've hidden, or, and one of your mega hides, if you will, is a 210 hide challenge trail. So let's talk about that. And you also on your webpage, you have a link to your challenge trail webpage, retired. I want to get it right. Retiredmonkey.com, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, back in 2015, I was working together with Cute Little Fuzzy Monkey, who now goes by ILMOP or something like that. He's moved to Texas. He was living in Florida. I was living in Florida. I've moved to Boston. But we were coming up with the idea of starting up a power trail that would be all challenge caches. And I warn you that this was pre-moratorium for the challenge caches. And so we had a lot, maybe more flexibility, but a lot of things defined at the time about, how geocache challenges should be done and whatever. And we had a certain desire of how we wanted to do it. And we dragged in a Boston guy named Sloth 96, who helped us with a lot of the technology behind it, of putting together leaderboards and verification pages. And we also believed from the very beginning that we should have a Project GC script that could test each of the challenges. And then this later got implemented during the moratorium. But we wanted to have it such that you could, through Project GC, test each and every one of the caches. So we set that out as our definition. The part of the teaming up between me and Cute Little Fuzzy Monkey, or Monkey, was that we had very, very different caching styles. He was about numbers and streaks and letter boxes, and he owns a Jeep. So he was doing the terrain fives back in the muddy backwoods of Florida, where I, as we were talking, am after souvenirs and countries and old caches in states and oldest in countries and things like that. And so we had different styles, and we viewed at the time, though it was not a requirement, that we should, if we're going to post a cache, we wanted to make sure we had done that cache and that it was obtainable. We had seen many challenges out there that an owner would drop out there and say, see, I did this and I'm bragging. No one else will ever get to do this because I made it so hard. And we wanted to make sure they were obtainable. So we kind of balanced that all out. We said we had to qualify ourselves. We had to be obtainable. And then later that got defined after the moratorium that each of the caches had to have at least 10 Floridian cachers qualifying. And though that sounds like, a nice pool to pull from, it's difficult when you're trying to say, all right, that you visited 8 of the different states of Germany. Not a lot of Floridians get over to Germany, but they do all the Florida counties. So it kind of balanced us out nicely. And we ended up creating lots of caches as part of a power trail, which we keep on adding to over time. But we grabbed a section of 441, Route 441, that goes down the middle of the state. We have about 30 miles of it, which is in general a park and grab if the weather is good and there's not been much rain. If there has been a lot of rain, you need deep boots because some wading may be required to get to the cache. And when you're wading, make sure there's no alligators or snakes coming up next to you as you're
an
doing
extra challenge on top.
So the level of trying to grab them changes from time to time, but it's somewhere between park and grabs and a nice wading across a body of water with alligators and snakes. So seasonal difficulty change.
All right, Jesse, plan accordingly. So this is what you are going to look towards now that you live in that area.
Yeah, I'm only about 2.5 hours away from one end of the trail, obviously. But I'll plan on a couple days when I go down and stay overnight in the area and make sure I don't want to go down there and walk away without signing any of them. And then it'll take me 6 months to figure out which ones I'm qualified for, and then the next 10 years to try to qualify for them.
Right.
And someone was mentioning the hurricane. You might want to bring a scuba outfit if you're trying to get to them right now. They may be on the far other side of a long swim. We'll see.
I'll probably wait for a little bit now later on in the year.
But so anyway, we set these up. They are something that I now live in Massachusetts, and Cute Little Fuzzy Monkey lives in Texas. But we have had great assistance in maintenance on these. I don't get down to Florida all that often anymore, but I send out a maintenance kit to people that say they're going to be making a run down the trail. All of them are now being upgraded to preforms with zip ties, one around the preform and one around the tree or whatever it's attached to. We try making them all at eye level. And so it should be the feeling of a power trail if you don't mind the water in between.
I think that's really neat about your trail. Folks are going, they want to accomplish it. They don't want to run into hardship. You don't want your caches to be in disrepair. So you support the cacher to support your trail, and that gives them a good experience in turn.
Yeah, and as I said, if any cachers are looking at doing the whole trail, I will send a box of preforms and logs and zip ties down to them, so they're all set, ready to go. And I'll also list out any caches I think we're having particular problems with, so they will pay closer attention to those.
Yeah, good. And I heard you say in show 216 that because they're pre-moratorium challenges, you wanted to focus on keeping them alive. Is that still your thought?
Oh, absolutely. That the pre-moratorium ones, are different types, and I don't want them ever to go away. The fact that we have quite a few caches with words in the cache. We have you have to find a certain number of caches that start with "Welcome to," or "Where caching is the pleasure," or the one I have not completed yet, the Chinese Zodiac, where you have to get all 12 animals of the Chinese Zodiac, and I don't have rooster yet. So if anybody in Massachusetts has a cache with the name Rooster in it, let me know, and I can go get that and be done. But
that's great.
So there are those types. There are ones based on coordinates and odd regions and things like that that are not allowed anymore. So we like keeping all the pre-moratorium caches live also, and we like building it out and not changing them because it does allow the leaderboard to get built and bragged about by different people.
So tell about this leaderboard. Are you doing something in the background where you're personally tracking it? Did you build some kind of script to make it easy?
Sure. So Charles, who goes by Sloth96, built some GSAC code for me, which gets run once every couple of days by me. It goes and counts the number of caches in the trail found by each person and the number of caches that are found, the number of finds for each cache. And so what I can do is post a leaderboard of how each person is doing. And that leaderboard often causes people to do unusual things in their lives because they want to climb to the top. There are some fascinating ones. Out of the 198 that are active in the trail right now, and we're looking to take it to 210. I've got 12 more challenges to put out there. Dirty D13 now has 197 out of 198.
Amazing.
And then just going through, Celebration Kim is at 193, FL Pirate, Two Cats Hunt, The Wench, Sea Dog 129, Z Steve, Florida Travelers, and as we get to 175, kind of the top 10 here is Butterfly Girl. One of
our regular listeners is on that leaderboard.
And then a couple of other notables on the leaderboard, Florida Jim at 170 and Ditto Cat at 166. Both of these guys help me with maintenance and are a great help. They're out on the trail often. Lori Bird, who I mentioned before, an American Airlines pilot who we just assumed that we were stalking each other. I love that. I got into Antarctica 3 days after she had been there. And then I was up in Kugluktuk, Nunavut, Canada, up north of the Arctic Circle. And she was there a few days later. We just keep on missing each other all along. And then out at Geo Woodstock, we decided to contact each other and we had dinner together. So
that's wonderful.
I always thought that she was stalking me or I was stalking her. And then 157 is Rock Chalk. I think he's the highest lackey. And then Bloody Cool is at 140. He and I just did the Brazil cache together and some weird countries down in South America. So a lot of fun names up there. Quite entirely a who's who of geocaching because not everyone gets to Florida. But it is interesting to see all the familiar names up there and how they've done in terms of the different challenges.
Right. I see GB's on there too. Great. That's really fun to have that public show.
and we go all the way down, I think, to 25. So if you've gone out on the trail, you'll get listed. You'll find yourself somewhere on there. But anybody 25 or above, we list. There's been, I think, 600 and something cachers that have been out on the trail. And we're up at 42,000 finds.
Wow.
That is really cool. And you have different themes and different levels of challenges. So you might have a challenge with the same theme, but I don't know for sure how you label it, but like a bronze, silver, gold type of challenge, right?
Yes.
Where
So early on, we started looking at some of the challenges and decided that there should be a couple of different levels so that we did allow the novice cacher to be able to approach it. And going all the way up to the expert cacher. So, for example, continental cacher, we have 3 levels of that. The first requires you, the bronze level requires you to get 2 continents, which for some people is a lot. For some people, for others, it's relatively simple. The silver will be 4 continents, and the gold will be 6 continents. And so you really have to become a world traveler to get all the way up there. And so we defined 3 or 4 levels for each of the caches. The reviewer has said no more than 4. We can't keep on going and going. And at times she views that 3 may be plenty. So it's often a negotiation with the reviewer, what should be out there and what should not.
That's great, though. And did you have, do you find yourself naturally creative in all these different themes just were easy for you and Monkey to come up with? Or how did that come up? How did they get created?
Well, the first ones were relatively easy. We've always laughed at our stats and looked at things and whatever. But as we started, crossing 100 or whatever, it became difficult of trying to look and say what would be fun challenges that one of us qualified for, and that we could find 10 Floridians that also qualified, since that became the test after the moratorium. And so part of it had me reading through Project GC scripts and reading what other challenges were being placed throughout the world. And because I could read the code and not necessarily the just the comments, I was reading a lot of fun German ones or Finland and other countries and seeing what they created in caches and say, that's really, really cool. And so on the webpage, I do at least say that many of the ideas came from other people. And some of them are just really, really fun. I think my favorite, for example, was one we published recently, which is a cache called cow tipping. And it requires you to find 20 caches that have both the stealth required and the livestock attribute.
Oh, I love it.
And, you can find them. They're kind of unusual caches, but if you set up a proper search, you can go find stealth and livestock together, and you can push over the cow if you feel like it too.
That's great. That's amazing. Oh, and I think one of the best features of your webpage for the challenge trail is that a person can go on and instantly all of the checkers will check their profile to see which ones they qualify for and still need to work towards. So that's just really neat that you put them all in one spot for someone who's making a plan.
Yeah, so if you go to retiredmonkey/verification.com, I think that's the address, you'll get a verification page, and it uses the Project GC engine and tests, if you're a subscriber, your caching name against all of the caches in the trail. And you can see right on the spot how many you already qualify for and which ones you want to qualify for in the future. And so it's often used to help set your goals and going, all right, I'm 3 short on this. I'm now going to go to Arkansas and go into the backwoods just to get this strange one that happens to be finding a cache there. So
yeah, so I love that feature. On one hand, I got very excited, and then as I kept scrolling and scrolling, I realized how far away I am. but still, it's a great feature.
in general, the ones on the top are the easier ones.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly how it went. Yeah, I got really excited at first, and then reality check.
Doug, do you plan on, I know you said 210 is the current goal. You have 12 more coming out. There's 198. Do you have any plans to stop at 210 or to keep going, or what do you have? What does the future look like for this trail?
No, I carved out the section of Route 441 where we're going to end at 210. We originally ended before that and had a tribute trail and a letterbox series on either side of it. And we've taken those down, and we had the Red Sox geo art also. So initially we had less challenge caches, but that was the area I cared about most. So we've been slowly taking down other parts of the trail and putting up just the challenge part. And now it is exclusively the challenge trail with the taking down of the others.
So 210 is the complete trail?
210 will be the complete trail.
All right. I think a lot of us are starting to plan a trip in our heads after talking about it and getting inspired here.
Well, if you go and sign, like, let's say people are going to go now, people that haven't gone before, they go and sign 210 of these challenges. That's material to work on for a long time.
A very long time.
Not anybody goes down there the first time is already qualified for it, right? There's no way you randomly happen to be qualified for this stuff. So that's material, that's caching material for years to come, if ever.
Oh, it will ruin your life. Okay, sorry. It will change your life.
It will change your life. Yeah. Guys, my mom's here in the hotel room with me, and I'm not looking at her. Well, I can look at her now, and she's, I'm sure rolling her eyes, knowing what I'm starting to plan with her. Yeah. Well, Doug, is there any challenges you are specifically working on that we haven't already talked about tonight? Challenges that you're working towards?
Challenges, no. That the things I'm working on, I'm not allowed to create a challenge for because I have to find 10 other cachers in Florida that qualify. So I don't think my current exploits are going to add to that because I'm doing some very esoteric, interesting world travel and whatever. There are still some that I don't qualify for in our trail because Monkey qualified for those, and I don't think I ever will. There's the old 365-day streak, and I'm never going to pull that off. And I have my excuses. Sometimes I'm in countries where I've already cleared out the entire country, so I can't possibly get a geocache that day.
There you go.
But on those days, other days I may be spending it with my grandkids or whatever. I don't want to put the effort into going out and getting a cache that day if I can't convince a grandkid to go out. There are certain ones that I like doing and certain ones I don't. And it's been a fun part of it is trying to pick and choose what matters to me and what doesn't. And as we keep on saying, that's a lot of what geocaching is about and what challenges are about is we can each define what is interesting to us and what's not. So I'll keep on going my countries and my geo tours and souvenirs and oldest in countries. And, now when I head back to a country that I've already been to before, I have to go get the oldest. I have to scan it for a geo tour to see if there's any there. I've become a geo tour fanatic. I've up to 36 of those, and I will keep on looking at new ones to go get.
Geo tours are amazing. Yep.
Yep. And they take you a whole nother direction of saying, all right, I'm only paying attention to the caches that are part of the geo tour. And there may be interspersed ones that I just skip right over, but I'm getting these no matter what.
Right. Oh, Doug, this has been great. We could keep on going forever and ever. We are running out of our time, though. But man, thank you for sharing your inspiring achievements and ideas with us. It's really fun to talk about with you. So we're going to transition to our Wheel of Challenges. And this month, Retired Guy has a Retired Guy prize for us for our Wheel of Challenges. So what is that, Doug? What do you have for our winner this month?
I have both a Ms. Pac-Man Geocoin and a Ms. Pac-Man path tag.
Cool. So we will make our Wheel of Challenges prize, your coin. And then Derek's in the background. I hope this isn't too late for you. Everyone who's listening now, in addition to the Wheel of Challenges, the question we're going to put out to you, use in the chat hashtag retired challenges, and we are going to pull for the Ms. Pac-Man path tag at the end of the show. So right now, everybody put that in the chat, hashtag retired challenges. And for our Wheel of Challenges, get your email out, because we want you to answer this question, and we need you to send an email with the subject containing "spin me," followed by your geocaching username in brackets, and answer the following question. Oh, I'm sorry. And you're going to be emailing this to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com. And the first verified user with the correct answer we'll spin the wheel and we'll check your profile against the challenge. And so your question this month is, how many challenges are in the Retired Monkey Challenge Trail?
Or will be when we're finished.
Yeah,
Or will be when they're
total.
finished. Yeah. Right. Thank you. So 2 things. Send that. I'm going to pull open the email now, and also put that hashtag retired challenges in the chat. Sorry, guys, I am doing things on the road. I hope I can accomplish Wheel of Challenges as intended every other month.
And I'm trying to resist going over to Project GC and seeing how many of these challenges I'm qualified for. So for the Retired Monkey Trail, I'll wait till the end of the show. I'll be good.
All right, we've got some answers. Give me a second to check on things. Okay, we have our first correct answer email in. It is Acorn Mama, and the correct answer is 210. So we are going to spin that wheel, see what challenge we pull up, and see if Acorn Mama qualifies for that challenge. So spin that wheel. And we don't have any fancy sound effects tonight. Oh. 5 difficulty, double your Jasmer Pleasure Challenge. So we're going to pull up that cache page and see if Acorn Mama qualifies. Ooh, error DNF. Did the cache get archived?
Spin again.
Derek's gracious and working on this for me in the background, since I'm not as equipped tonight as usual. And while he's getting that pulled up, I want to make sure to make this announcement. So GeoCoin Fest, which is next Saturday, but side events starting this week, are still looking for volunteers. So if you are going to go to GeoCoin Fest in San Antonio, if you're going to be there on many of the different days, we're going to put a link in the chat and up on the page for the sign up. It's Sign Up Genius webpage, where you can take a look at what is still needed, what dates, what time slots. You can sign up, and that webpage has all the information that you'll need to know there. So check that out if you are going there and have the chance to do that. And one other thing, just a quick correction to last week's show. One of our patrons' names was said wrong. So it's supposed to be JR and Juju. Gary said he copied it into his notes incorrectly, so we just want to make sure we give that shout out to the right person. Thank you, JR and Juju. All right, so let's see if Acorn Mama qualifies for that 5 difficulty challenge. I'm sorry, what was that, Jesse?
I think Derek's telling us that it's he's having some issues in the background.
Oh no. Oh. Okay.
You may have to spin again and see if spin it again and see if we can do another challenge that'll work. I don't think that
we can do that. We can do that.
She got lucky, so that's good.
Right.
He's gonna try to spin it again, I think, and see if we can. There you go. Maybe the next one will work. Oh, it's jumping.
It's jumping. Oh my gosh, it went to another 5 challenge. And it went to our tree climbing
At
challenge.
least
This
these ones
one
work, but
seems
that's
to pop
insane.
up a lot. All right. So we've got our Project GC checker that Derek's going to open up. Authenticating. You guys are all familiar with that process. We know we have to go through that. All right. And then we're going to be checking Acorn Mama.
Sounds like a hard one.
Yeah. This one, the wheel loves to pull that one up. We've had some people qualify. Oh, does that say failed? It's really tiny on my screen. Oh man, Acorn Mama said in the chat, this is the one I didn't qualify for the last time that I was the fastest. I still haven't climbed trees. Oh my gosh, the wheel is so biased.
That's right.
I'm sorry to see that. Oh
Well,
man,
I guess
should we?
that means she needs to get out and climb a bunch of trees. So
Yeah.
when it comes up again,
Acorn Mama, you know your fate now. Go out there and climb some trees. All right. Well, Derek, is it possible for us to run that hashtag game right now too? We're just talking to Derek, and I know he can hear me, but it's kind of funny being on this end, just watching Derek do things in the background for us.
he's spinning it now in the background.
All right, cool.
And
all right, so there on the screen,
There we
we have
go.
all of our entries scrolling through. And the winner of that Ms. Pac-Man is Patag is Royals fan. Congrats, Royals fan. So we'll make sure we have your info so we can get that sent to you. All right. Thank you guys for being here and participating. What's that, Jesse?
So at least we got to give away one prize. The other one didn't work out, but we got to give away one. So that works.
That's great. Yeah, we really love you guys being a part of our live chat. It makes this show so much fun. All right. Well, like I said, we're on the road. We're in transition this month. We really didn't have a chance to do our monthly challengers. We didn't have too many people sending us their challenges. But just a reminder, between now and the next show, be sure to email us your challenge accomplishments at challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll pick from our submissions a monthly winner for that. And we love to hear what you guys have been up to because it inspires us as well. Mm-hmm. All right. So do we have any closing thoughts on our on challenges and Doug's challenge trail that he's a part of?
I'll just throw in a plug at the very end. Project GC is what has made all these challenges and challenge checkers possible. If you ever look at supporting a organization, they work really, really hard on creating great software and tags and scripts and whatever with lots of volunteers, but they have hardware that they have to run to support all this. Magnus is a great guy. Consider donating to them to support all the work they do in keeping all these challenges alive. That's a great thought. Thank you for saying that.
And I just want to say, Doug probably summed up this show and geocaching the best tonight when he said that challenges are really kind of like new ways to energize yourself in caching, because people find so many different ways to really find what they want out of the game. And I think that's a perfect way to talk about it, right? It's everybody has their own part of the hobby that they like, and that's perfectly okay for you to be doing something totally different than everybody else is. You know, most people aren't collecting countries. That's okay. Or souvenirs. Some people collect just numbers, and I think there is no way to define the best cacher. You know, you just can't do that because everybody does it so differently. So
yeah, we can. It's the guy having the most fun.
That's right.
Yes, that's it. There you go.
I like that.
It is fascinating. We all know the quote saying it's not about the numbers, and we have to be able to follow it up with, but for us, it's, and you know, you can fill in what we set as goals, and it may just be having fun. It may be a great walk in the woods, time with our spouses, It may be collecting countries. It may be just number of caches. But define it the way we want so we enjoy the game and enjoy it over a long period of time. And that's why I think many of us cachers have been out there for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a good point. We've been doing this because we found something that has inspired us. It's the thing that makes us wanting more. And I'm ready. This is so inspiring for me to go out, and I'm not even home yet from this trip, and I'm ready to plan something because we love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Doug, so much for being here with us, giving us some updates. And like you just said, remember, it's not about the numbers. It's about the challenge. And we hope you accept that challenge. Take care, all.
Great job, Emily.